All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cal Cairo Live. It's Thursday, and we are having a few technical difficulties. Hopefully, we'll be getting people on here soon and start loading them up. I usually have my countdown, which gives me like an extra 30 seconds, but something happened to my countdown. So I guess I could count to 30 for you if you wanted to, real quick. We already got the PI for all QR code up there. So hopefully, we'll be getting our guest on here shortly. I'm seeing an email from him. He says he's in the waiting room, but if Tiffany is with us on the stream, you're going to have to let him know that he's got to enter into the waiting room from the waiting room onto the broadcast. So we'll get it going here. But I'll start making a few announcements. There he goes. There he came in. Real quick as we get started here today, as a reminder, we are just a few short days away from the PI for All conference. I've been informed that we have over 150 people that are going to be in attendance at that event as of like yesterday. So again, we're doing a great job of getting these events sold out, and locations are awesome. If you haven't had a chance to see this Huntington Beach property, it's going to be incredible. So few more spots available. I know if you'd like to get in on the PI for All event and join us this weekend. In addition, we have our fall conference coming up August 28th. I know that things are going to start ramping up for that here soon. I just had some conversations with Dr. Ron Benson and trying to get Dr. Brad Glowacki here on the live broadcast. Brad's going to be one of the keynote speakers for us, and really looking forward to the content and the energy that he brings. So hopefully you'll have a chance to look in to join us at that event. The fall conference is at the Disneyland Resort, which another amazing property there. Going to be a lot of fun. I just enjoy all things Disney, so maybe that's what's wrong with me. But that's all we had to announce today. And as you know, we're going to try to give away some money today. We gave away, I think, $900 last week. That was a lot of fun, pandemonium. One of my own staff members was one of the guests one of the people that had her name picked, but unfortunately she wasn't on the broadcast. So we did have a winner last week. I'm being told it was 700. I'm told 700. So that was a lot of fun though. But this week we'll have $300 to raffle off. And but let's get our guest on here for today. This is Dr. Jay.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. How you doing, Jay? This is Dr. Jay Shetlin. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us. Why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and your company and what's some of the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Jay Shetlin. I run the Whiplash Group, which is a medical legal coaching firm and networking firm. We've got doctors and attorneys across the country that work together, and we try to build little cells up in each state where they've got a good networking group of like-minded individuals that just have good positive energy, or pro chiropractic, or pro and comfortable communicating and co-referring with other specialists, PTs and MDs for their specialty in personal injury. And again, attorneys that just love chiropractic and actually value what we do.
So give us just a little bit of some of the bullet points for today about the crash course in elevating the PI work that you had alluded to in our title today.
Yeah, I'm a big fan that we all pick our specialty in our area. It's so much easier if we look at, even in the medical world, for decades now, there's just general practitioners have been dying out. It's always specialty oriented. And then it's easy for them to refer to each other because they know each other's specialty. And in chiropractic, we have 43 different diplomate programs, and there are 3 credible, reputable certification programs in personal injury out there now. So you can actually have some credentials saying, hey, look, I'm certified in this area of medical legal. Sure. And matter of fact, the ICA is actually moving on one that's 150 hours, like the neurodiplomate's 150 hours and those kind of things. So you can really take it high level, or you can do some entry level with the Whiplash Group or with Dr. States and see how you like it.
Yeah.
But I'm just a big fan of us getting certified in our specialty and picking our lane. I mean, granted, you can always do 2 or 3 other things in practice, but you can't do 20 things in practice and be good at all of them. You've got to pick a lane. So that's where I'm trying to go with it. I'm a big fan of cash practice, MPI, myself personally. And so we try to coach docs in that and how to bridge those gaps so that you're not treating patient A cash and patient Z personal injury, where it's completely different set of rules, and then it's chaos for you and your staff. And we'd really try to streamline it so it's high quality for everybody in the office, but yet streamlined and easy to do.
Cool. Well, let's dive into that just a little bit, because I know that was one of the bullet points that we had talked about. What is your tip or advice on how to marry the medium to high volume cash practice with a personal injury practice as well?
Yeah. So key things is understanding all the patients that are coming in, and you're going to have more than just adults in your practice from a crash. I mean, you're going to have some of these passengers are going to be kids, and you want to make sure you're comfortable with kids. And most importantly, working up diagnosing and either treating, because we want to treat kids a little different. They are a little different animal, even in the chiropractic world. If you look at the 3-year diplomate program in pediatrics from the ICA. So either be comfortable referring to those docs, and they either refer back for treatment or they're treating them, but you've done the whole workup and diagnosis and the initial reports and then the final reports. So you're getting paid well for your services. You're helping pave the way so everybody gets paid properly. I'm really a big fan of doing initial reports because it just paves the way for the whole case for us as the doctors. And if somebody else is treating it, that maybe they come see us as the expert or specialist, but then they see another doc that's close to them. Maybe they're referred to us by a doc that is an acupuncture doc or a family wellness doc and doesn't do much PI, but their patients were in a crash. They refer to you. You write up this nice report, send it back to them for care. You're getting paid well for your services and documenting. You're getting paid for your services if you get called into court because you're the specialist in that area. So you're going to get called, not that other doctor. I mean, just some fun stuff that way. So I think it's really important to just have your protocols, which is kind of hard to go over in our short little thing here, your protocols and procedures of your day 1, day 2, where they're pretty smooth, but you're gathering enough information on even somebody that comes in for cash or that's referred in from a fellow patient, or if you do screenings or something that you think, oh, it's a screening patient, I'm going to do a less exam. I always coach, just do the same high quality history and exam on everybody. And then when you have a PI patient, you're just doing a little bit extra. So you're still doing the same, depth, and then just a little more depth for a PI patient. So it's not so confusing for you and your staff. And then it's just easier to keep congruency. And then once they're through day 1, day 2, where maybe there's a little more heavy lifting day 1, day 2 for your details of exams, some extra testing, maybe you use MyoVision or JTech or something like that for your PI patients that you don't need for your cash patient. And they kick out a killer report. But then you're doing your workup and diagnosis and your treatment recommendations based on research guidelines, which I love blending the research guidelines from Croft for PI and from, who's our gal from New Zealand? Dr. What is it?
Are you talking about Dr. Havik? Heidi Havik?
Yeah. So Heidi's got some great research in the last 10 years that says, look, if auto accident or not, in order to do any sort of corrective change, we have to be seeing somebody 3 times a week or more for at least 5 weeks. And that's just backing up some old research that's been around since the 50s for PI patients, but now it's more modern for even non-PI patients. So those blend perfectly. And if you look at CBP, which is just great published research in our profession, thanks to the Deed family, same stuff. And if we're doing curve correction, which most people lose a curve in a car accident, or people are coming in because they jacked up their neck and just in life for the years before, they probably still need 90 days worth of care too, which goes good with the Croft guidelines. So that way there's congruency in your research you're using, your workup and diagnosis and your care plan. So after day 2, it's pretty much the same care, other than a little more kid gloves for those that are injured in a car crash versus somebody coming in and is like, I just got headaches or back pain, or I just want to get better. But at least you're congruent. And boy, does that make it easier for your staff. And then you're not having staff turnover, which is expensive and a lot of training work, because you've got systems in place. You're franchisable, so to speak. I like to use that term, franchisable. Even if you're not trying to sell the franchise of your business, you want to be thinking like a business owner, that if you were to take you out, somebody else could plug in, and you have enough systems in place that it still flows and makes money without you there.
I love that idea of being able to reproduce, consistently, right? And so I want to talk a little bit about just your strategies on documentation and your approach to how you manage these cases, in using these guidelines.
Well, what I do is I've worked with these attorneys through the years, and different attorneys have different wants for how they want to prepare a case. It is a med legal case. So we want to be in communication with the attorneys. A red flag for me is that an attorney that just asks for records at the end. There's no communication, they're just asking at the end. The good attorneys and the ones that are certified and in the Whiplash group, because they take the same courses that we do or help teach the courses together at the Whiplash group, which, by the way, I want to plug your awesome seminar that's coming up in a week. And then we're in Huntington Beach in August, the 8th through the 10th. I hope we get some attendees there too. But the attorneys that we work with, they reach out right away and they get records early, and they go and get the emergency records early rather than wait until the end. Why wait? They're not going back to the emergency room. They start gathering that stuff early. They check in with the doctors in the middle, and then they check in at the end. So they've already got their case worked up really well, and they're communicating with you if they're like, hey, doc, on your re-exam, you didn't mention anything about this shoulder, but they're mentioning to us they've got shoulder pain since the crash. Because, they mention stuff to our staff sometimes, or they say something to the attorney sometimes they don't say to us. So that way we've got a more three-dimensional view as a team for the patient. So that way we write up that good initial report. And this is to answer your question. We do re-exams and an interim report every month or 12 visits, whichever comes first. So that way, a lot of us have some pretty cool software that we can put in some cookie cuttery soap notes each visit. And I know that in the PI world, that's like a big no-no, but it's not. That way you're doing your cash payment patients, your PI similar. You're probably going to have a little bit more detail in your notes, but you don't have to go crazy every single time they come in. And you don't want to ask a VAS thing, 0 to 10, how do you feel today? Okay, tomorrow, 0 to 10, because it's going to go up and down so much, it creates confusion for the attorneys. But if you got a dot here at the exam initial, and then at the 12th visit and the 24th, it's easier for the attorneys to track progress. So an interim progress report every 12 visits or every month is so much better to step away, detail, look at stuff, see where you need to pivot or change course or get another referral in there, or then move forward rather than asking those kind of questions on every visit.
I love that. Now, how about use of like indices, oswestry or general pain index or anything like that? Are you an advocate for those kind of things, or do you feel like those are
an advocate for whatever documentation you can do helps you? There's some of those that the patient can fill out, like oswestry in the beginning, and those are nice. But if they have a concussion, they may be struggling with those. So you want to be watching, and your staff should be watching for concussion type symptoms to see if you need to refer to a concussion specialist early on. I love the chiropractic neurologists. They're amazing with their concussion training and diagnosis and treatment. And a lot of them will refer back to hyperbaric or things that you might have at your office. So then you're actually getting more care in your office, saving your patient time from them having to go to so many providers. And it's a nice synergistic way. And so if the medical doctors, neurologists can do that too, great. But you got to watch for that. Some things they fill out, some things like an ACE form, you're going to want to fill out. But if you're seeing red flags for those things, be sure to refer to that other doctor because they're going to refer them back. I know a lot of us, we feel like that's a concern in the chiropractic world. I want all of us to shake it off, is that scarcity mentality of, if I refer out, I'm not going to get the patient back. We can't think that. They're our patient and that doctor's patient. It's a team effort to get these people back to maximum medical improvement.
I love that. I've talked about that a lot, like leading up to this seminar and that collaboration and that kind of thing. And so can you, while we're on that subject, I would love to hear your tips and tricks for someone maybe like our new practitioners on how do you foster that collaboration, or if you have never done that, if you're a new practitioner, do you have any tips and tricks for people to develop those kind of relationships?
I'm a big fan of old school. I love building relationship capital. Garrick Gunderson talks about relationship capital builds financial capital. And so many of us are unplugging and either paying somebody to do the marketing, or we're paying bots to go out and try to market things. But sometimes you just got to do boots on ground, go to lunch with people and work with your attorneys. Like we work with the attorneys in our area. We love setting up seminars or lunch and learns for other doctors, other attorneys, and just getting people together and being the one that's throwing that lunch party in your community for those. They love that. They're like, wow, this doc's different. They actually are trying to teach us stuff about personal injury, or they're willing to take the time to go to lunch. That's what I love. I just love that face-to-face relationship.
I want to shift gears a little bit because I know you have a course that you offer if people want to learn more. And obviously, I think there's a certification that goes along with it and things of that nature. So can you tell us a little bit about your course that you offer? And I guess the seminar that you're doing in Huntington Beach, is that part of the course or is that separate from the course?
Great question. The course is all online. I don't know how people do that. I'm old enough that I like to do stuff in person. I just love getting together with people and rubbing elbows. And so we really made this seminar where we can get together and network. I really encourage people to meet up, group of 4, no more than 6, for lunch or for the dinner or the times that we're going, so that we're getting to know different people face to face, knee to knee. But then we've got amazing doctors and attorneys that are helping out with the seminar on key personal injury training.
Okay.
The Whiplash Group has an 8-hour online certification course. So I call it entry level 1, because some people are like, well, I don't even know how deep I want to go into personal injury, but I love helping doctors market, but I'm not going to help somebody market as a certified specialist if they're not certified.
Sure.
Just like I wouldn't help a brain doctor market as a certified brain surgeon if he didn't do advanced training to be a certified brain surgeon. So, hey, look, man, you got to just get the credentials and we can help market you that way. So it's more of an entry-level one, nice and easy, covers amazing content that is very useful right out the gates for practice improvement and for income ROI. And then I love Jeff States has a Personal Injury Training Institute. His is about 60 hours. And he's always teaching with us. He's one of the modules in our 8-hour one. And then we've got that ICA 150-hour one. I don't care which one people do. If you're certified, and then I'm willing to help work with you to help you market yourself as an expert in your local community.
Can you tell me just a little bit about the content in terms of like what do the modules entail, or what are the titles of the modules and things of that nature?
Oh, yeah, I should have had that page pulled up. That's a great question. But a couple of them are interviews with attorneys, personal injury attorneys, and they're talking about the importance of collaboration and the comfort in doing that, and the right questions to ask. For example, Michael Coates, he's really good at coaching on how to get paid at the end from attorneys that I like picking a few attorneys, 3 to 6 attorneys that are in your area that you like to work with, and you can build an amazing practice with just that. Okay. But if you've got other ones that you get patients from that have other attorneys, how to make sure that they're honoring and respecting you for your skill set and making sure you get paid. So he deep dives into that. Another one talks about how the importance of bridging and communicating as a team between attorneys, medical doctors, chiropractors. Okay. One of our MD faculty, the guy is he just loves going to bat for the plaintiffs after a crash, and he deep dives into the physics and makes it so fun to understand the physics and understanding what's happening to the occupants in the car, because we experience a different set of physics than the vehicle itself. Sure. And that's why we got to know the junk science that they're throwing at us in court, or when they're trying to banter against our reports, when they're saying, oh, well, it was like sitting down in a chair, or it was like riding a roller coaster. No, it's nothing like that. That's junk science. Or when they're coming in and doing accident reconstruction about the vehicle, and you can get, as soon as they're done, it's like, well, thank you, Sheriff, or Highway Patrol, or whoever did that. That's an amazing report about what happened to the vehicle. Now let's talk about what happened to the occupant, and that's why we're all here. And you completely wipe that stuff off the plate in court, which is just boom. That's awesome. And then we go into a pediatric. We have a pediatric module, which I think is really important, because so many of us, we don't even ask the parents if the kids are in the car. Right. And then if the kids are in the car, they're uncomfortable with, because it's harder to work up and diagnose a kid, because like a baby, we got to ask mom or dad questions. Hey, is the baby still nursing? Are they latching on properly? Have they stopped? Are they whining in their crib more often? Asking the right questions to work up and find that objective finding from the parents. Yeah. How do we treat the kids? Some people are like, I don't even know how to prescribe for that. And that's what we train with the research we talked about earlier and with the Croft guidelines, how to easily give a good recommendation of care for a kid. A kid's going to bounce back quicker than us adults. Yeah. But they still need that care early. We don't want to just go, oh, they're fine. Kids in car accidents don't get hurt. That's complete junk science. So we address those things.
I love that. I would love to see some of that pediatric research as it relates to motor vehicle stuff. I think that's, like you said, an area that's not talked about a lot, kind of thing. So,
and it's a hot module. I know the docs love it. It's in our module, and it's the exact same module that's in the ICA certification for the 150-hour one. So same thing.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to talk just a little bit too about the marketing. We got at least another, 4 or 5 minutes, but with respects to how you're talking with docs, I know you said boots on the ground, but can you talk with us a little bit about what's the steps that you can offer like a new practitioner, or the tips to get out there, market themselves after they're doing the boots on the ground kind of thing?
Yeah, for a new practitioner, I'd say do build a connection list in Facebook and LinkedIn. Find those local attorneys that you want to work with, or medical doctors in your area that you want to work with. Start reaching out that way. Then start building scheduling those lunch meetings. Then you just start co-sharing patients. And I think a really powerful one, Doc, this is one of my favorite ones, is when we get a patient from the ER or from a medical doctor, I always send them a copy. I get permission from the patient. I always send back a copy of my initial report, because their report, especially the ER, is like 2 diagnostic codes. Oh, they're motor vehicle collision, headaches, or something. I mean, they just do it's so unhelpful for the attorneys.
Yeah.
And we send back our initial report listing all the detailed stuff that we did and our 30 to 40 diagnostic codes. They're like, wow. And then those places start referring to you because they see you know what you're doing in personal injury. I think that's one of the most powerful marketing tools.
No, I like that too. Yeah, I've certainly seen. I mean, I know in building some of my own PI work that I've done over my career, just simply listening to patients about who they're working with from an attorney perspective or who they're working with from an MD perspective, has helped tremendously to build that network and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Locally and that kind of thing. So tell us a little bit about your event coming up in Huntington Beach.
So Huntington Beach, we have, and I think we're going to max out at 30. So it should sell out because I'd really like to keep them small. The Whiplash Group, we try to do we do one big seminar every other year in Salt Lake City, which is like a 3-day. But otherwise, we do 1-day ones in like Hawaii or California or Florida or Nashville. We try to do destination vacations, so it's a little bit of a getaway for couples. So it's a working education vacation.
Sure.
And so we've got this dialed in. We're actually going to do Friday night a social where we're going to meet there Friday in Huntington Beach. We're going to go out to the DeLorean shop because I'm a nerd with DeLorean cars, and do a little wine and cheese meet and greet there, and really get to know each other with some of us, some of the speakers, the attendees, and some of our sponsors or supporters there. We've got a great guy coming out that does photo shoots for the doctors, and the attorneys does their headshots because we all need to update them every couple of years. And it's like $750. He does them for $99. This guy does an amazing job. So I love that supporter there. Anyway, so we're going to meet then. Saturday is boots on the ground on site at the Shore Break.
Okay.
Which is a fun property. It's such a great property. The beach is right across the street. The restaurants all around it are great. But we're going to be right there, getting a bunch of CE, knocking it out on Saturday. And then there's some bonus material on Sunday with Michael Coates is an attorney, and Dr. Kronk is flying in from Florida, who's an attorney and a chiropractor. And they're going to be doing brunch training on how to handle depositions and stuff properly, get comfortable with those kind of things. So I think it's just got a ton of great material in it. And we always try to make it where it's delivered fun and informative rather than just wah, wah, wah.
I think we might have a link for your event that you had sent Tiffany, right? Maybe we could put that link up in the chat, and if anybody has any questions for you or anything like that, they can, or you're welcome to tell us the cost related to the event.
Well, it's at whiplashgroup.org, and then you can just find the seminar drop down. If you guys can find it to put it up, great. But if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to pipe in, I'm all ears.
And how many hours is your event?
6 hours, and I can't even I just think there's so much ROI value there that weekend. It's worth it with or without CE, but we have 6 CE.
6 CE, but the total event is an 8-hour event, or?
Well, it should be about 6 hours on Saturday, and then there's a bonus material that's non-CE on Sunday.
Nice. So you'll get a chance to kind of enjoy the property and enjoy the area and that kind of thing a little bit too.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you more, Jay. And, I think I love, obviously, people that are working with Chiro Congress and the chiropractic associations. We appreciate that and that kind of thing. So thank you so much for coming on and being one of our guests.
You bet. My pleasure.
Are you going to be able to stay on here as we try to give away some money today?
You bet. I'm here. I'm here till you're ready.
All right, good. Well, let's see if we can get that wheel up for today. Looks like we have we're back to $300. As a reminder, to win the money, you have to be a member, you have to be on the broadcast, and you have to respond in 30 seconds. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Mary Howard, you are our first winner. You have 30 seconds. There's a little bit of a delay sometimes I got to figure out how to manage that delay all the time. So we'll see if Mary's on with us. I don't know Mary, but maybe she's here and is listening to the broadcast. Oh, I forgot to mention, make sure if you want to get in on the PI event this weekend that we're having, check it out on our website. I probably can't put up the QR code now that we're spinning the wheel, but that is going to be here just in about 48 hours. So hopefully you can join us if you want to learn more about PI, and it sounds like you can interact with Jay a little bit more next month as well in that regard. So
sounds like an amazing event this weekend. I wish I could make it down there. I got to I got to fly a different town. But man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I definitely think we should try to set up some time with you and our PI task force to talk a little bit more about collaborative efforts and things of that nature and those kind of things. So
let's do it.
Let's do name number 2. Khyber Zafark, and I hope I didn't do too bad with the pronunciation on that. Khyber, you are name number 2. Let's see if Khyber's here to collect some money. Appreciate everybody that's in here in the chat today. As a reminder, please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and set your notifications so that you know that when we come on live. Hopefully you've been getting our text messages as well when we're going live with the broadcast. And if you haven't, make sure you reach out to Tiffany to give her your cell phone number, because a lot of people only have their office numbers in the membership portal, and so we can't send you text messages. But getting that text message makes it so easy to just click on the broadcast at 1 p.m. Even if you don't want to learn anything that's valuable, like Dr. Jay was just saying, and you just like money, then at least you can come on the broadcast to win some money, because I hate to see somebody turn down the money and that kind of thing. But I don't see Khyber in the chat, so it looks like we're going to do name number 3. Ooh, Tim Karpov. I know Tim. Let's see if Tim's here with us today. Is Tim one? I think Tim might be one of my students, but that's a name I recognize for sure. But thanks again, Jay, for being on with us. I appreciate it. Why don't you tell us the name of your website one more time?
Yeah, it's whiplashgroup.org. And then there's a pull-down menu for, oh, great. Somebody posted it. Thank you. That was very kind of you.
Excellent.
For Huntington Beach.
That's how you connect with Jay if you want to learn more about his organization, his coaching program, his certification process. I'm sure there's a link for the event there as well.
Yep.
And all of that kind of stuff. So once again, thanks so much for your time today and your support. I think will I be seeing you at Cairo Congress again in November?
I'm putting your fall one on my calendar. I'm going to try to make it down there and meet the gang.
All right, good. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, Jay, thanks so much, and thanks everybody for being on the broadcast today. We'll see you next week. Try to give away $400, and